Hello, everyone. I'm Gavin, founder of the Chaga Company, and welcome to Chaga Chat. Today, we are with Darren. He is our enthusiastic, stoked, spiritual, and curious guy who actually runs Welcome to the Mushroom Hour, a podcast that has a lot of mycology information, a lot of community work when it comes to mushrooms and under fungus related. Hey, Darren, how are you?
Gavin, I am doing tremendous. How are you, my friend?
I am doing quite well. Thank you so much for Chaga Chat today. A lot of people are trying to get into mushrooms and they're either scared or they really don't know anything about mushrooms or the unknown, should I say. Could you
Right.
give us um, a little bit of information or courage on how one can get into mushrooms?
Yeah, mushrooms aren't that scary. I think you said it perfectly when you said the unknown. I think we all kind of have a fear of the unknown or a little hesitancy there. But you know what? We're in the era of mycophilia, and we're in the era of an explosion of mushroom knowledge. I mean, you and I know because we're in the Bay Area. When you talk about San Francisco, when you talk even further north, Marin, Sonoma County, there is a huge mushroom culture.
Yeah.
And I mean, most people, even if you're listening outside of this area, most people are aware that mushrooms are showing up in food products. They're showing up everywhere. It's
Hmm.
like the hot topic of the past 3 years is mushrooms. So my number one thing is if people are scared or they don't feel like they know anything about it, they don't know where to start,
Hmm.
just dive in. Like there's so much information. Use the internet like we do for everything else. That's one of the
Yeah.
best places to start. Use the internet and use social media. Obviously, that's where I live, and I know you put out a lot of great content there as well. And there's so many people putting out educational, fun mushroom content. And I think part of it is to people get an image of mushroom in their heads. And as you know, the kingdom or queendom fungi
Yes.
is so vast and so massive. If you don't like white button mushrooms because you hated eating them as a kid or something, please don't let that be some kind of barrier. Like there are so many more fungi to appreciate, even fungi that don't have fruiting bodies.
Yeah.
So there's so much to learn and appreciate. I think most people who get into exploring mushrooms start to see it as this life form that connects so many things on the planet.
Hmm.
So, I would just encourage people, if you have any hesitancy, jump in because you're going to come to some realizations and start finding your way and start seeing fungi in a whole different light that really enriches your life in a lot of ways. And it's hard to describe. I don't want to, but it's hard to describe until you do it.
Yeah, true. So the thing is that Darren and I, we met at the Marin Mycology Fair, and that's where we met. And at the same time, he's been taking my chaga too as well. What is chaga to you, and how does it help you, or what importance do you have chaga in your life?
Well, I got to say, you were so kind to come on the Mushroom Hour podcast. And
Thank
that
you.
was actually the first podcast I ever did. And in preparing for that, I actually did my research on chaga. So I thank you for pushing me to really research what chaga was.
Oh, thank you,
Um,
thank you.
and that was online. That was also with Robert Rogers' Fungal Pharmacy,
Hmm.
an amazing book for medicinal mushrooms. And for
By the
me,
way, Robert Rogers is gonna. He's actually one of my guests. He's Chaga Chat episode number 5.
oh my god! All right, I have to go watch that because Robert
Yeah,
Rogers is one of the people that has influenced my relationship with medicinal mushrooms hugely. Can't overstate
he's
it.
amazing. Such a nice man.
Oh man, you're so lucky you got to interview him. So, chaga for me now has become uh, really one of the tools in my arsenal for personal health. My own fungal pharmacy at home has different chaga. Obviously, your chaga products, your chaga powders, but also other tinctures, and it's become also a fascination in terms of how unique a life form it is, even in kingdom fungi.
Yes.
You know, the incredible antioxidant content, the incredible melanin content. That's why it's so black.
Yeah.
Uh, and really, that it's got so many things that are unique to it. You were the one that told me that, the nutritive value or the medicinal properties of chaga are enhanced the further north you go, the colder it gets, as
Yes.
the chaga is forced to draw more and more nutrients out of those white birch
Yeah,
trees.
the harsher the temperature, the more antioxidants the chaga derives from the white paper birch tree, and the more batulic acid. Yes, so true.
Which is just incredible. So for me, it's become like a fascination at the mystery of it, the strange appearance. You know, when you see it, you don't even understand it's a fungi or how you could turn that into the medicines that we all use. And then you explore the history, and it's like this touchstone of folk medicine in a lot of different cultures, including in Siberia, where I think for the past 600 years they've used it as a stomach tonic, and maybe further back, and we just don't even know it. So it's become this source of fascination, folklore, and like I said, now it's part of my everyday toolkit when you get into cold or flu season. I mean, much less with coronavirus or whatever novel virus is upon us. It's that thing you need to add to your arsenal of boosting your immune system.
Exactly. It's all about building our immunity now, and because our new wealth is health.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's and it's one of the most, when you read the literature on it, it's definitely one of the most what I want to say, one of the most effective. I mean, the causal relationship is really clear when you read some of the studies on chaga. So it definitely is something everyone should have in their own personal medicinal toolkit.
So true. That's very true. So Darren, now you're in the forefront of mushrooms. You interview a lot of people on your podcast. Welcome to the Mushroom Hour. Where do you think the future of mycology and mushrooms will go to?
The future of mycology and mushrooms, I think that's really, the potential is infinite. And I think we're just at the beginning of this huge wave as our society's consciousness, and when I say our society, I'm saying kind of Western Anglican society, England, US, Australia, those places that are kind of leaders in science and other realms, but haven't really embraced queendom fungi. As that slowly creeps into our awareness over the past, 50 years ago, it was formed to do its own kingdom. For the last 30 years, 20 years, now in the last like 5 years, we've seen this crazy acceleration. And I think the future of mycology is going to be the deprofessionalization of mycology, which we're already seeing. As you know, the tremendous role that citizen scientists are having, whether it's James, our friend at Hate Street Shroom Shop, making sure everyone can basically do mycology in their own home. I think that's the future, is everyone maybe getting over that fear you were talking about at the beginning, that fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
And developing their own relationship with mushrooms and integrating it into their life. And pretty soon it's going to be, I keep thinking of this analogy to plants. Yeah. How over time, think how many people garden, think how many people grow their own vegetables. It's going to be like that with mushrooms before too long.
For me, I feel like mushrooms is a food. Fungus is a food. It just so happens that it has a lot of medicinal antioxidant properties. Treat it like food, because food will heal you. And right now, that's what we need too as well.
Absolutely. And as more people get into this, more amateurs and people who are into growing their own mushrooms at home, we've seen an explosion in techniques and processes and ways where basically now you can go to Whole Foods and Walmart and get everything you need to grow mushrooms at home in a still air box. So I have a feeling we're going to see mycology become part of everyone's lives. It's going to be this hobby like gardening, where people are going to be able to grow their own mushrooms at home. I mean, the investment isn't that insane, and the knowledge is more available than ever. So I see kind of that area, the deprofessionalization of mycology, and everyone integrating mycology in their day-to-day lives. And then I also see this other area where, on kind of the forefront of academia and technology, we're going to see mycology play a huge role in the future of materials, in the future of environmental remediation work. Some of the stuff that I think gets us the most excited when we think about mushrooms saving the world, like mushrooms cleaning up oil spills and, remediating just every part of the environment, from water to oil to all kinds of filtration properties. And then that material side, where we're using mycelium instead of styrofoam, or even other things in our day-to-day life, like furniture and I mean, you hear Phil Ross of MycoWorks right here in SF. I mean, he's using it for leather. He's wants to build
Bill Ross,
buildings.
William Goss, is it?
No, Phil Ross. So he's actually the founder of MycoWorks. And
Oh
for any
yes, he's the one who does leather with reishi.
reishi leather that
Yeah,
looks
yeah, yeah.
exactly like leather. So there's kind of like this populist grassroots side where everyone's going to have a relationship with mycology and probably through food as kind of the most easy vector to get into it. And
Correct.
then on the other side of like big industry and tech and like cutting edge science, we're going to see mycology play a huge role there as well. So it's really exciting. And I always, I have younger cousins and stuff. So anyone I meet who has kids who are trying to decide what they want to do, I'm like, take a look at mycology. There's gonna be a lot in that world.
Yeah, so true, so true. So when you got started with mycology or your passions for mushrooms, you actually started Welcome to the Mushroom Hour, which is a
Hmm.
podcast that's being listened to 20,000 people now.
Yeah. Actually, we're just a little bit over.
Wow,
And we
congratulations.
started it. Yeah, we started it. You were the first episode, like I said, and that was about 4 months ago. And you definitely got us started on the right foot. Your episode is still the most listened to episode. And part of that is because people are so interested in chaga. There's
Yes.
been a lot of health people, like David Wolf has been talking about chaga for years and years. And so as more and more people key into it, I think with chaga and with a lot of medicinal mushrooms, not to take us too off track, but with chaga and a lot of medicinal mushrooms, people do want to know enough where they feel like they're picking the right medicines for them.
Yeah.
You see a lot of products that say they use these things, and that term fairy dusting comes to mind, where sometimes they're not really
Yeah.
processing it the right way, they're not sourcing it the right way like you do. And so consumers are kind of like, okay, I want to get into this, but now I really need to learn more to make sure I'm making the right choice with
Mm-hmm.
what chaga to use or any medicinal mushroom. So I think that's why your episode was such a great place to start, is because it is such a big mushroom, and most consumers do want to know more and more and more to make sure they're making the best decision. But now we have expanded, and we've gotten a chance to talk to so many people about so many things when it comes to fungi. And that can be anything from art to, like I was saying, environmental remediation, to materials, to growing mushrooms as a food, to professional foraging. Obviously that's what I'm most into, is foraging, finding mushrooms in the wild.
Yeah.
But it's been an incredible experience. It's given me a whole new appreciation for how important fungi are in so many aspects of life.
Wow. Thank you so much, Darren, for our Chaga Chat today. This has been very, very informative. How can my audience reach out to you and get a hold of you too as well?
Sure. The main place is Instagram, and that's welcome_to_mushroom_hour. If you just type in welcome to mushroom hour, you find it. And we're also on TikTok as well, which I know you are too. We're
I
getting
am.
into the TikTok world. So find us on Instagram or TikTok. And yeah, don't hesitate to reach out. I really want people to feel like they can reach out. I'll try to, if I don't know something, I'll try to point them to someone I know who's an expert or knows more about that. And I think that's one of my gifts from doing the podcast, is I know more and more people, because I don't know it all. No one knows it all. But I know more and more people to key people into.
Exactly. For me too as well. It's going into the whole mushroom community. It feels like once you plug somebody in, yourself into our community and our mycelium, should I say, everybody's more than happy to help you out, whatever information that you need.
Pretty much, if you're showing up and you're interested, you're like part of the team.
Yeah.
Mycophiles want more people to be into mushrooms. We
All day
have
long.
all day
All day.
long.
All day.
So if you're interested, just reach out. I'm happy to talk to you. And you can find the podcast, just called the Mushroom Hour Podcast, on Stitcher, Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeartRadio. I mean, we're on everywhere. Yeah, we're
Like
everywhere.
Chaga. Get it from the Chaga Company.
Well,
Yeah.
hopefully we're going to see Chaga, everywhere, even more and more soon.
Yes,
And that's part of why we need
Especially
you.
now with this pandemic. We really need Chaga,
Yep.
if anything.
That's why your mission is so important, Chaga. Or
It's
Gavin. I just called you Chaga.
I
That's
know.
how synonymous you two are in my brain.
Everybody really calls me that. They call me Chaga. I'm like, okay. Thank you so much, Darren. I will talk to you later. And thank you so much for doing Chaga Chat with us.
Of course. Happy anytime, man. This is a lot of fun.
I'm like,